Hi, this is Chris with Peace of Mind Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a project using a file folder. We're going to decorate the file folder, and you can use it for various projects you might want to put in here. It has a flip out, and then you can put things on the inside. I have a piece of paper in here for now. Put your important papers and so on in there. I did decorate it with a printout from one of my art quilts. It's a photograph of one of my art quilts that I did in the style of Georgia O'Keeffe. She did a lot of paintings with calla lilies, and I tried to emulate that. And of course, before I sell my work, I take pictures of it so that I can use it again, like in this collage. So this one says, "Let choice whisper in your ear and love murmur in your heart. Be ready, here comes life." Okay, let me show you another one that I did. This one I did in a video, which I had to scrap because the video didn't turn out very well. So I am redoing this video, so making a third one. So this one, I used a photograph, a vintage photograph that I got off the internet, and then I used some ink to color in the sky and the ocean and the sand. Okay, this is a tag that I made to go in the little pocket here, and it says "At the Seaside." This is from an Arty Maze digital, and her digital is called "A Day at the Beach." It's really got some wonderful things in the digital pack, and I will link her shop to this video. Once again, it's Arty Maze. Okay, and that fits right in this little pocket here. This one opens up also. This one is glued instead of sewn. The other one is sewn on the sides, and you can do either or. Okay, and it opens up for your important papers. This also makes a great package if you're sending someone a journal and you want like a package. You can put it right in there. You can open it up, and you can put most journals that aren't too thick. You can set right in there, and it makes a great extra gift. Okay, I used a legal size file folder, which is 9 by 14, and the reason I did that is so that I could cut it down. Here's the 9 by 14, so that I could cut it down so that it would hopefully fit an 11.5 paper or so. This one I'm going to cut at 12 inches. I have it marked. I'm going to use my paper cutter for this. Let's see here. There we go. You can make it a little bit bigger if you want to, or a little bit smaller. You can make it any size you want. And then, of course, I saved this piece. The two that I just showed you were coffee dyed. And like I said, I had to scrap the video that I did, the first video that I did, and I only had two that were coffee dyed. So this one I'm going to show you a different way. But these are coffee dyed. And then decorated. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to stencil a design on here. I have already one cut that I did stencil. I'll show you that. I stenciled it on the back. This is one that I cut down to the 12 by, I believe, 9. Yeah, 9 inches. It's a little bit taller than the 9 inches on this side where the flap hangs over. Okay, and I did attach up here, I put a little tab for the file folder so that you or anyone who receives this can write what's in the file. Okay, and the second thing I did to decorate this was I glued a piece of my coffee dyed, or I believe this is tea dyed paper onto the front, just to kind of give it a more vintage look. And then, excuse me, and then I used a stencil to stencil the back, and I also used my script stamp and some flower stamps. Okay, so I'm gonna do that same thing and show you on the front, just so that it won't take quite as long. This is the stencil that I used. It's a kind of a crackle stencil. I believe it's by Tulip. Okay, and I'm going to take my ink. I'm going to use the walnut stain because it's a little bit darker and it works a little better. I'm going to put I'm going to use this brush, which has lots of bristles in it. Okay, and I'm just going to go through the stencil. Mainly I want to stencil onto the sides of this, and then also I can go into the coffee dyed paper. A lot of the coffee dyed paper will be covered over, so I'm not going to concentrate too much on that. More on the sides and the edges, just to show you. And you can do this as much or as little as you want. You can use any stencil and match it. I would suggest that you kind of pick a theme before you start, just so you can kind of know what your background should be. And I did that. I did pick a theme. So you can see how I did, and I stenciled right over the top of the label. That's fine. Another thing you can do to decorate the front is you can take your walnut stain, or you can also use the regular way of putting the antique on the edges. This is just kind of a different way where you can do the edges right with the stamp. And the back also I can do. Okay. Next thing I want to do is decide what I want to be on the middle part. I have chosen these pieces of fabric that I actually printed on the printer using a digital that I got from Christy Art Designs. I don't know the website for that. I know it was on Etsy, and it's called Christy Art Design. Kristieart. Christy Art Design. Okay, and I printed off these various landmarks. This one, of course, is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This is somewhere in Venice, I think. And this, of course, is the Eiffel Tower. Okay, and I want to put these across the bottom. And the reason I want to put them across the bottom is because I'm going to have the flap that comes up from the back. Flap is glued down to the back, and it comes over the top, and it goes down somewhat on the front. So I want to make sure whatever I put down here does not, that this does not go over the top of it and cover it up. Some of it can, like for instance, the background areas. Okay, if you want to also stamp in the background, you can do that. I'll show you that. Take my script stamp. Let's set these aside for a moment. This is my script stamp that I use on pretty much everything. This is a really good stamp. And I just go around. Sometimes I go off the edges. You kind of want to get that off the edge look. Around this way. Now if I wanted to, I could also put some of the stamped flowers like I put on the back. But I think I'm going to wait until I'm finished and see if that's needed on here or not. So I think I have enough stamped on the side here for now. Put my ink away for now. Hope you guys are doing well. It's a really pretty day here in Colorado. I printed these on fabric, and I can arrange them any way I want, in any direction. I think I had it with this one being towards the side. And if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you know I don't like to put things that go straight up and down. I like to kind of lean them over a bit. I like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, that for sure can lean. Okay, some might be up higher than others. Okay, I am going to glue these on. I'm going to use, instead of fabric tack, I'm going to use my art glitter glue. The way I'm going to determine where these go is, I think I will just put a little pencil mark on the side, like that. I could also use fabric tack glue on here, but I think this will be plenty to hold it. I printed these on a real fine muslin. And I've printed both on sheets of muslin that I've made and then backed with a sticky back, and I've also printed them on fabric that I bought right at Joann's. That they sell it in a package, and you can put it right through the computer. It has a paper backing on it. Check your type of computer first against the packaging to make sure that it's compatible. Okay, got that one. Let's put these other two and see how we want them. I'll put this one down next. And once again, I'll mark the corner. This is just to help me when I put either the paper or the fabric back down, so I get it sort of where I want it. If you have a lot of pieces that you're doing with a collage, and you've got a lot of pieces and you design it and you get it all just right, it's best to take a photograph of it with your camera, and then that way you can save it and go back and check it as you're gluing down. And of course you would always glue the things that are behind other things. You'd glue that down first, the things that are behind. Okay, see how I'm going over this just a little bit. Okay, now I'm placing this one. And I think I will move it a little bit closer. I don't want it too close, these too close to the edge, because I am going to either be gluing or sewing these down. And if I am sewing them, then I kind of want them out of the way of the sewing. Okay, put this one down. These file folders are a great place to keep, for people to keep their important papers. I've also made and decorated file folders where I have my favorite ephemera inside, or like I said earlier, a small journal. You can keep the journal in there, or you can just use it to give as an extra gift with a journal. Okay. Now I can't erase, most of the time I can erase the little lines if they show up. That's why I use a pencil. Okay. Now, anything that I put up here is going to most likely be covered over with the lace and so on that comes over the top. So I'll show you what I have picked out so far for this side. It's a rose, and I am going to ink around it a bit. Get this piece of wax paper out. Okay. I just got this, I think it was a piece of scrapbook paper that I fussy cut out the rose part of it on there. Kind of make it blend in. And I need to kind of decide where I want to put that. Now most of this will not show when, a lot of it will not show when the lace comes over the top of it, but for the most part we can have some of it showing. Okay, so let me pencil mark. I'm going to cut this stem part off of here. My husband yesterday helped me with getting a different camera installed, and I think this is working much better. He did a good job with that. Okay. I don't think I glued down there quite right. And you can always go back later and, you know, if you find areas that are coming undone, then you can use a little bit of your glue on there and fix it all up. Okay. So I don't think I'll put anything here because that is where this part of the flap that comes over, I usually have an area of it that hangs down over a little bit more than, say, this side. So nothing would probably show through much there anyway, so. And I can decide later if I do want something under there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to put the lace that goes over the top and comes down over the folder like a flap. I'm going to get that ready to go. I have chosen it just so that this video goes a little bit faster. Okay, so this is kind of sort of how I'm going to have it. Just to give you an idea. Okay. The first thing I want to do is to glue I'm going to wait for this and the flowers till later, is to glue this down to this piece. Okay, so I'm going to use my fabric glue, which works the best when you're gluing fabric to fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the part of this lace that doesn't have quite as many holes in it, so that it won't seep through as bad. Okay, and then I'm going to go across the top part. And the edge as well. Now this fabric tack glue does dry a little bit faster than the other glue, than the white glue. Okay, then I'm just going to even this up. Okay, I want to get a wet wipe. Okay, instead of patting this down with my hand, because it will get all gluey and stick to my hand, I'm going to use this wet wiper. You can just use a damp cloth also. It helps if it's a little bit damp so it doesn't stick to the paper. Okay. And this is the second part of this video. We're going to merge them together. We did miss a few things because the camera shut off, but I'll try to catch you up on what I did for the few minutes after that. I did attach the back on. I'll show you that. The back lace. Put it on here. The first thing I did was I glued this lace down to the white lace, and then I glued it down to the back. You can also sew this if you want. You could but I would recommend gluing it loosely first before you sew it, just so you get the placement right. Okay, and then it comes over the top. Okay, then what I did was I glued a strip of this ribbon rose lace across the front here, and then I glued 2 silk flowers on there. It kind of weighs it down a bit. What I'd like to do next is to decorate the front a little bit more. Oh, first of all, let's cut off this area here just a little bit. It hangs over a little bit too much. So actually you'll notice I'm using my fabric only scissors. I have to show you this. It hangs above my workspace. It's a picture of a very famous actor. I'll let you determine who. But he says, "Hey girl, don't worry. I know which scissors you use for fabric and which scissors you use for paper." Okay, I got a chuckle out of that one. Excuse me. Excuse me. That is hanging above my workspace. All the husbands and other people who might come into my workroom and try to use my fabric scissors for paper. Okay, so I'm going to trim this down a little bit. This side here. Okay, trim the other side. Sorry, I'm not getting this all in the picture very well. There we go. Okay. Oh, and this hangs over. It doesn't hang over quite as far, but I kind of like it hanging over a bit. You can determine that on yours, how far you want it to hang over. Okay, then I am going to add a few things. I'm going to put a saying on here. And some postage stamps. A couple of these are postage stamps that I made. This one, for instance, will get covered over a bit when it's glued down. Okay. I use my white glue. Glue these down. Okay. This one. I did ink around these a bit. By adding these little cutouts, I got them in out of a package that's kind of for travel ephemera, and like I said, I inked around them a bit. Kind of wanted to put some stamps on here since it was kind of a travel theme. Different country stamps. Okay, I could do some more ink stamping on here if I wanted to, but I think I like that. The saying that I picked was, sometimes on the way to a dream, you find a better one. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I inked these up a bit. And I'm not putting them down straight. I've mentioned before, sometimes when you try to put things down completely exactly straight, you don't ever get them that way. So you're better off putting them on a little bit of an angle. And actually, I think they look better that way anyway. Gives it kind of more of an artistic flair. Okay. Okay, I think that looks nice. Okay, the next thing you would do would be to, on these, you'll remember, I had a few charms or more lace or something that I put on there. This one as well, I put some charms on there. So I found this, actually it's a fleur-de-lis, and it is a kind of a symbol of France. Okay, and it's a brad. You can tell by the back of it. So I decided I would put it in here somewhere along here for the I have to puncture that part right there. Let me just cut a tiny hole. My fabric scissors. Now I just have to find the hole. Okay. Actually, I gotta have 2 holes for this. It's gotta be a little complicated. It's all right. Okay. And that will have the added factor of adding a little bit more weight to hold the flap down. It looks really nice. Okay, the next thing you can do is you can glue shut your sides. I'm also going to sew this shut, but I just wanted to show those of you that will be gluing. Use a little bit of 3-in-1 glue on the side. You don't want to go in too far because that will close your folder too much and might determine the size paper you can get in there. You're just going to glue the sides, remember. Not the top, not the bottom. The bottom already has a fold here, so it should be fine. Okay, let's see if I can get this in the picture here. Okay, now remember, I've got to flap this flap up out of the way so I don't get it caught in there. Okay. This glue holds pretty well. It's designed for fabric, but it works really well on other things too. Paper, wood, metal, etc. Okay. Let me show you the back. Okay. It opens up. And I hope you'll be encouraged to make one of your own. You can also make a smaller one. Just cut the file folder down to the shape and size you want it. I've seen them done like half of this so that it's kind of like a little a small folder that you can fit maybe an envelope or cards or something down in there. And I have done some at Christmas time with the Christmas theme on the front to use for Christmas cards that I get. Okay, so I'll show you the other ones. Once again, this is Chris with Peace of Mind. I'm wishing you all peace of mind. Thank you for joining me today. And come back soon and take another lesson with me. Bye.